say to my bride, let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. So, what do you get when you cross an automotive engineer with an architect? You get a building that you can drive. Now, I'm not aware of any actual drivable buildings, but in early American automotive history, a gear-headed architect did build cars, and although they certainly didn't look like buildings, they were among the most successful high-wheelers built in America. And the man that did it was Henry Holsman. Henry Kirchner Holsman was born in Dale, Iowa in 1866. His father, also Henry, was a local tailor and ran a shop that was attached to the family house. The family business was successful, and young Henry proved to be a very studious, indeed nerdy, young man. After completing his primary education, he studied architecture at Grinnell College in Iowa, where he graduated in 1887 with honors. As an architect, Holsman had a prosperous career that spanned some 65 years. He married an artist, Elizabeth, who was a gifted sculptor and painter. The two would work together, Henry designing the building to integrate her art, while Lizzie made her art to integrate into the building. And well over 1,000 buildings are attributed to the Holsmans. Most of the designs were private houses, but many other major buildings as well, churches, banks, college facilities, and more. It was in 1900 that his gearhead got, shall we say, into gear. He had moved to Chicago and, while there, bought a Winton automobile and was absolutely fascinated by it. But there was a problem. The Holsmans, like most folks, lived along unimproved dirt road, which in turn connected to other roads that were similarly neglected. His new car could not handle them in wet weather, which is a very common thing in Chicago. It would bog down and get stuck in the mud. Worse yet, it would stall the engine in the process, and good luck freeing the car without a team of horses, which kind of defeats the purpose of a car. A few months later, he bought another car, this one in St. Louis, and had the same problem. Henry was now frustrated. He wanted to drive around his area of town, but couldn't find a car that could handle the road conditions. And so the decision was made. If he couldn't find one, he'd have to design and build it himself. And if he needed such a car, chances are, in the lack of good roads USA, that he's not alone. So it was time to get into the car business. By 1902, the Holsman Automobile Company was established and ready for production. One car was produced that year based on the patents Henry filed. He designed several types of carburetors, as well as an electrical system with circuit breakers throughout to keep things running even in wet weather. This one car wasn't ever sold, but rather was tinkered with to perfect his design. Several engines were tried, but none pleased Henry, so a new engine was designed. An opposed twin-cylinder, air-cooled engine producing 5 horsepower, a 2-speed transmission, and final drive for the rear wheels was via chains. The car was shown at the Chicago Automobile Show of 1903. 3 models were offered. The Model 3 had a single bench seat, selling for $625. The Model 4 offered an additional seat for $700, and the Model 5 was a stripped-down version of the Model 3 that could be had for $525. Most Holsmans were equipped with pintle hooks at the front, so that they could be easily pulled by a horse should the need arise. These high-wheeler Holsman cars sold quite well, particularly in the Midwest amongst the farmers and ranchers. By 1906, the company was prospering with hundreds of cars built and over $250,000 in sales. The following year's sales were more than double of the previous year. Larger engines became available in 1905, putting out 12 horsepower as a new option. Sales declined in 1908, and the company found itself in financial trouble. Production ceased entirely by 1910, with Henry joining the Independent Harvester Company as a consulting engineer the same year. Henry Holsman designed cars that were the ultimate in high-wheelers, and many can be found in museums across the world. Some can also be seen on the road today as they trundle down the avenue, driving past a row of houses that Henry Holsman also designed. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History, and we'll see you next week. Peace.